Just want to let people in. Only got the one
Okay,
so far.
I'm a letter in.
It's Monday, December the 8th. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for coming in and joining us this evening. Hi, Jessica. Thanks for joining us. We've got some wonderful women showing up here tonight. And we're just going to keep this line open for about a minute or two, just as people are joining us here this evening. So if you are here, pretty much everybody has their camera on. I don't even have to ask to put your camera on. So thank you, ladies. Thanks for being here. And also let us know in the chat where you are joining us from. I'm currently in Toronto, Ontario. So I'm in Southern Ontario for the holidays till the end of the year for sure. I see Denver, Colorado, Asheville, New York, New York. Awesome. Western New York, just over the border. Yeah, Denver. Yeah, that usually is the percentage. Low percentage of Canadians, high percentage of Americans. San Diego. Fantastic, fantastic. Well, we're getting snow here already, and it's getting a little bit chilly. I'm usually in Northern Ontario where we get a lot of snow and it gets to like -50 in the winter, and you spend days shoveling. Southern Ontario, not so much snow. In fact, with global warming right here in the city, the snow comes and glows, and you really don't even need a shovel anymore. It's so bizarre how different the weather has come. Okay, yeah, Tegan's nodding her head. Yes. Okay, so I'm going to get started. Paige, thank you for joining us. If you want to put your camera on, you are welcome. I've already started recording as well. And you know what? We are just going to get started. And also, I just want to encourage everyone for the next little bit of time that we have here together is to just stop multitasking and really give yourself permission to bring your energy into tonight's live stream with 100% of focus. And if you can join us, like I said, with your camera on, that's fantastic. And it's always great just to lock into your energy and see your beautiful face. So I am trying some new technology here tonight. So I'm going to see if I can multitask a little bit and do this as well. And we'll see what happens. I do have some amazing women joining me here tonight, as well as my wing women. They are here as my little virtual VAs to support me so that I can use this technology and to be here for all of you as well. So we are literally officially going to get started. And my name is Tamron, and I'm a women's wellness astrologer, your host for this evening. And again, I just want to say thank you for carving out your precious time to be here with me and with the other women who are in the room to connect our energy together. And really, now that I am much wiser in this stage of my life, I really do honor time. And everything just seems to happen so fast. And this really is a powerful time in our lives where women can become healthier and authentically happier. Because I believe that little quote, health is our wealth, right? Is there anybody else who agrees with that little statement at this stage in their life? Yep, I see hands go up instantly, right? And it's so true. You know, the more I talk with my good friends and the women that I meet, a lot of us are feeling pretty lucky that we have our health. It really is true. So, again, welcome to this live stream experience. And I just want to let you know that it really is possible to learn how to use your unique astrological birth chart to help you begin creating a personalized wellness action plan to restore a balanced mind, body, and spirit using this ancient wisdom during a difficult phase in your life. And by the end of our time together, you will walk away with at least one powerful action step to get you started so that you can begin feeling better today. So remember to stay until the end of the event tonight to receive the bonus gift that I have created for you. I really am on a mission to supporting more women so that they have more choices in front of them. And let's really step into our power together now during the age of Aquarius, where I believe astrology and holistic health is the future to becoming everyday tools in the mainstream for our overall health and emotional well-being. And now it's your time to embrace this ancient wisdom. And we'll just do a little bit of housekeeping just to remind everyone that this is a safe place to share anything that's coming up for you. So what happens in the online room tonight, let's let it stay in the room. That's all right. And also, just a reminder, this wasn't put in the marketing material, but you will receive a recording of this live stream within the next 48 hours. And there will be times in this evening where I will pause from the 3 steps to the teaching so that anyone can ask questions. So if you can, please hold on during the presentation and we'll make time for you. And my amazing women in here, my virtual assistants, as I call wing women, are also going to keep an eye out in the chat for any questions that come up. Okay. So you can pop a question in there, or you can raise your hand if you're wanting to know any additional information. So with that being said, are you ladies ready to get started? Yes? Okay. So here we go. All right. So, again, I just want to remind you that we can really begin to tap into the secrets of the wisdom of ancient astrology to really understand our lives from a different perspective and to seek some solutions for emotional and physical well-being. So, with all of us in the room here tonight, I'm just curious, and you can just do this by raising your hand. Is there anybody in the room tonight that's really feeling like they're going through a difficult time, right? Like, is there anything triggered in their life, any type of betrayal? Then, yes, we know you ladies are in the right room here tonight, okay? Because this is really the theme of this experience. And also, I believe that the stars, meaning what's happening in the astrological sky, aligned all of us together here right now, right? I believe in synchronicity and I believe in all that woo-woo stuff. So if you're willing to participate full on for the next hour, you're going to walk away feeling a little bit more empowered. And before we get into the training, I would just love to share a personal story with all of you in case you don't know me already. Because today I am really grateful that I have gone through some intense challenges and I have my own personalized wellness kit and templates that I've curated by my unique astrological birth chart that I keep with me at all times, even when I'm traveling, so that I can remain emotionally grounded, calm, and be able to trust my own intuition to make those big, important decisions, even if I am facing a challenging time. Because right now, at the age of 61, I sleep well most nights and I wake up feeling refreshed, physically invigorated, and really excited about the day ahead. And I just love how I live my life with my time for my own self care, regular time I spend with my family and friends. And I just love to support other women. And I often receive compliments from people that don't even know me that I don't look or even act my age. And I feel honored every single time this happens. And my boys, who are young adults now, keep saying to me, Mom, you're just vibing. You're just vibing. And I'm like, okay, that's the language you see, but I get it. I understand what they're saying because they know my life. They've been a part of it, right? So they completely understand. But it wasn't always this way. And if you would have told me 25 years ago that I'd become a leader in the women's wellness industry using astrology as a framework for emotional healing and vitality, I would have thought you were crazy. But now I understand what real leadership means because it's not about perfection. It's about rising again and again, and sometimes again after life knocks you down. And my birth chart confirmed it. I was destined to face some really tough lessons. And I'm going to be honest, for me, it showed up in my life as betrayal. And betrayal has happened a few times. And sometimes at points where I just couldn't believe it was happening again. And it was my job to choose how I'd respond, how I'd manage my emotions, what I was feeling, how I'd recover and rebuild my life so that I could bounce back and not be a victim. And that's hard. And I've also faced some very serious health setbacks. And I was able to use powerful wisdom to help me heal and to pick myself back up. And here I am today. I'm still rising, ladies. I'm still vibing because leadership means living your truth and showing your scars and leading by example. And back in my early 40s, I was recently divorced, feeling deeply betrayed in my personal life, and still grieving the recent death of my father while raising two young boys on my own. And from the outside, oh, yeah, I looked strong. But on the inside, I was secretly battling deep depression and even suicidal thoughts. And physically, my body was falling apart and screaming for help. I suffered from major digestive issues, relentless sinus infections, and so many unsettled and sleepless nights that finally led to surgery. And that didn't even help. And I remember sitting in my doctor's office with my swollen face, feeling utterly exhausted and emotionally numb. And she looked at me and said, Well, I've flagged all of the prescribed medications in your file, and you've reacted badly to all of them. And if you ever get seriously sick, we don't have any options for you. I mean, I left her office in shock. I was so scared and I couldn't stop crying. And I felt betrayed again, now by the medical system. And I literally felt like I had been punched in the face multiple times. It just wasn't stopping. And I felt so embarrassed by what was happening in my personal life. I was so ashamed I was lost and alone. I mean, that to me was just very unsettling. And an hour later, I was standing in the school, in the foyer, in a small community. Everybody knows your business, right? To pick up my boys with my swollen face when a fellow mom that barely knew me approached me and I shared what had just happened in the doctor's office. And she was a newly certified holistic health practitioner. And she just gently asked me if I'd be open to trying something different. I didn't know what she was talking about. I was so desperate. Yeah, I said, yeah. And little did I know that I had just opened a door that would lead me down a completely new path, which is the path to where I'm standing here with all of you right now. And that next day, I had my first holistic treatments with her. And for the first time in months, I could breathe. That night, I slept soundly. And by morning, the pain and all of the intense sinus pressure inside my head had lifted. And I had surgery and that didn't work, remember? I literally felt hope. I I couldn't believe it. And I felt a wee bit happier somehow. And I needed to know how and why that just worked. And I was really curious to find out if my body could keep getting stronger and healthier. The holistic solutions that I just experienced in the basement of this woman's house weren't taught by my doctor or any school that I attended. So I began to search for more information. I mean, we're talking quite a while ago. So one day during my quest, I picked up this skinny little health magazine and I found this tiny little listing on the bottom of a page for holistic schools in the nearest big city. And I felt like I had won the lottery. I couldn't believe it. So, over the next 25 years, I'm dating myself, ladies. I studied with powerful teachers and I devoured stacks and stacks of books. And I implemented the wisdom to manage my health and my well being in a completely holistic and alternative way. But the one course that provided real solutions to help me understand my health and wellness, believe it or not, was actually studying astrology. It was mind blowing. And when I became a certified astrologer, I started with my own birth chart and I revisited those dates when everything seemed to fall apart, right? When I was getting betrayed and things just kept happening over and over. And it was like a pattern, right? And I noticed that when this happened, it was always when my health even took a hit, right? So there was that link in there, right? What was showing up in my life, which was showing up in the astrological sky, and it was affecting me. So what I uncovered was really powerful. And each breakdown that I had was actually a breakthrough. And it was guiding me to keep using holistic solutions to keep me emotionally strong and physically healthy each time. There were no more trips to my doctor. Can't imagine why I would go back. And there were no trips, no more to the local pharmacy, right? So I relied on my own notes and I knew what solutions to use because I kept track of everything that I was doing. And studying astrology helped me make sense of my life and to also find deeper meaning about some of the spiritual lessons that I believed I was here to learn as a spiritual being, not a human being, a spiritual being. And I realized I wasn't here to be born to just buy stuff and die, because I don't believe that. And I believe now that my soul is here because I had a lesson to learn. And astrology gave me this new lens, which is like a higher perspective to see not just what was happening, but also what actions to take and how to heal my soul and experience more happiness, regardless of all the challenges that I came across in my path, my entire life. And this is when the magic really happened. Because using my notes, I started designing a wellness template, and it lists out specific tools to stay grounded, clear, and resilient, and notes that I kept using and returned to anytime I needed it, because there was no more guessing. I didn't have to figure anything out anymore, because it would always guide me to recover if I fell down, because life is challenging. It wasn't about having the perfect life at all. I haven't had the perfect life. So no matter where I went, more women were reaching out. Well, a lot of people knew my story in that small town, right? And they started asking me for advice. Or if I bump into someone I hadn't seen for years, they're like, wow, right? So I was able to teach other women how to simplify their daily wellness routines with the greatest impact, because I was just applying this template that I put together, and I added their information into this template. So now I pay attention to what's always happening in the astrological sky. Even today, I check it every day, and I can easily predict how everyone might be feeling. And I recommend exactly what holistic solutions they can implement right away to stay calm and grounded, so that they can also tap into their own intuitive abilities and make their own empowered decisions. And the reason why I say that is because when we're not feeling crazy and out of like chaotic and stressed, it's actually easier to be calmer. And when we're calm, right, our intuition really kicks in, right? Especially as women. So when life throws curveballs, because it always does, I have the answers. And I have these answers ready to go for myself and for my followers on social media and for my clients, because I'm always creating weekly ongoing wellness templates along with my women's weekly astrological wellness tip videos, right? So I make a video and I have little templates that I'm always sharing as well. And so I created this system that actually works, and it's rooted in the wisdom of the stars. So, ladies, wouldn't you love to have that kind of clarity, confidence, and knowledge, right? I mean, who wouldn't want it, right? I've done the work for you. Does that make sense? Yeah, sounds incredible. Yeah. So this is my passion. Okay. So I just want to remind everyone that in this era that we're in, it really is a time where we can imagine what's possible. Now that more women are waking up and we're open-minded to using astrology as a tool to understand not only our lives from a deeper, more spiritual perspective, but at the same time, it can be used to support anyone's emotional and physical well-being, because it's not just about the astrological sun sign. That's like horoscope marketing fun stuff. Like my mother still doesn't understand what I do or what astrology is. She pulls a newspaper out and she goes, "Is this astrology?" I go, "No, mom, it's really not, but it's fun to look. Go buy the lottery ticket today if you want. That's okay, right?" So it really is hard to grasp because we're in North America, right? So astrology is still fairly foreign. And it's about creating this wisdom to create the templates and to guide anyone according to their unique birth chart through their lives' inevitable ups and downs. Because let's be honest, we all have crazy lives. We have challenges, and sometimes they're hard. And it could have been triggered by a bad breakup. or sudden job loss, or even just what's happening, even like right now on a global scale. It's crazy out in the world, right? So remember that life isn't here to break you, it's here to awaken you. And that took me a long time to figure that one out, right? But I want to give you this message to give you ladies hope. And I know it can feel super heavy, but it's in those moments that the real transformation is actually ready to begin. And it has to start with your health. And you are the only one responsible for the actions that you take, right? This is where you can become so empowered and learn so much about yourself. And your birth chart is your personalized wellness framework. That's the framework, right? You just need someone to interpret it, right? And someone who interprets it, like me, will show when challenges might arise. It can be very validating. And it gives me the clues to create the exact template and recommend the correct tools that women can need to stay grounded, feeling and having clarity and feeling empowered so they can experience joy and radiant health and that new definition of true wealth, right? That we talked about. And I would just love to show you how. Okay. So, ladies, I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm going to grab a sip of tea in a minute. And this is where I'm going to pause for a second. And if anybody has any questions before we begin, you can ask now before we go into the teaching points. Are we good? Does that make sense? What I'm trying to say? Okay, perfect. That means I'm doing a good job because there's a lot in my brain. Okay, so now I'm going to share a couple of things. But before I share the first image, I just want to create something for you. And just to remind you that the day and time that you were born and the place when you took your first breath on the planet Earth, right? It created a picture in the astrological sky. I'm going to show you an image in a minute. So this is unique to you. Even if you have a twin, they're going to be born at a different time. Even if someone was born at the same time as you in the world, they could be born in a different place. So the picture that gets created from astrology websites will be different for every single person. And that picture is like a snapshot of where all the planets were, showing the exact positions. And this is called an astrological birth chart. And for me, it's called an astrological wellness template curated.
Tamara,
Yeah.
Tamara, there's a question. It's what if you don't know the time you were born?
Excellent question. You don't need to know. You need to know the date. You need to know the place. Okay. So, for the purpose tonight, some people do want to have their exact time. So, what I recommend, and just tell people that it's free information if you were born in a hospital. So all of my friends and family, when I first started studying astrology, I'm like, you guys call your hospital, right? It's free. Even one of my best friends was born in Austria, and she thought it was going to take forever or whatever. It was the fastest one ever. She got the information within an hour. They sent her an email, and I'm like, what? Because they have to keep the records, even it's on microfiche. All that information is public. You don't have to pay. Okay. All you do is contact the hospital where you're born and say, this is my birth information. Can you please provide me with the exact time that is on my birth information? It may not have been put on your birth certificate, but the hospital, the nurses look up when someone is born and when someone dies. Okay. That's a medical record. So it's free. So if you want to have it for the sake of having it, I would suggest you do that, because if you start tapping into astrology, it is like a rabbit hole you go down and you will never come out. I guarantee it. Okay. Because it just tells you so much, and you can use astrology for anything. I use it for health and wellness, but it'll be good to have because it gives you more specific information. But for what I'm going to be offering at the end here tonight, and for the most general things, you don't need to know your time. Okay. Does that make sense? And if they want to charge you, it's not right. So a friend of mine, we actually went to the hospital. We came back, they called him, texted him, and they actually gave him a letter, right? So every hospital might be different, but go ahead and get it if you want it, okay? Because you can still use the information, a lot of information without the exact time, because where those planets were, they were in a sign. I'm going to show you an image in a minute and you'll see, because I don't want to make it complicated, because for a lot of the women I work with, they're not astrologers. Okay. So does that make sense? You don't have to be an astrologer, right? Okay. Great question. And thanks for letting me know. Okay. So we are going to show that image in a minute. So like I was saying, when a snapshot is a picture where all the planets were, and it's the template that I create. Okay. And this holds important information. So tonight I'm going to be sharing some secret information about astrology, some basic stuff, and the hidden link to our overall well-being using what we call the 4 elements in an astrology birth chart. Okay. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share an image with you ladies. You can see it on the screen. Thumbs up. Yes. Okay. We're good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, my stuff over here. Okay. So stay. No. There. Okay. Can you guys see is there a cursor on the screen or no? Yes. Okay. So it's showing on your screen. Okay. Perfect. So the first thing I want to talk about is the 12 positions in the sky. So we're going to start on the left here where we see this fiery image. You guys know your astrology signs. These are sun signs. So this is you in the middle. Okay, you were born and you're looking up. You're on the earth. You're looking up to the sky. This is the sky all around you. So it's some Aries, the piece of the sky, one of the 12, it's divided into 12 equal parts. That is the astrological sign of Aries. And then next to it is Taurus. And next to that is Gemini. Next to that is Cancer. Next is Leo. Next is Virgo. Next is Libra. Next is Scorpio. Next is Sagittarius. This one's Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces. Okay, so those are sun signs, but it's also 12 pieces of the pie. So from a wellness perspective, this is what I uncover in order to support my clients. Each of the 12 pieces of the sky not only is an astrological sign, it's a sun sign, but it's also one of the 4 elements. And the 4 elements are fire, we look on the left, earth, air, and water. So we do a little bit of math. We have 12 signs and we have 4 elements. So that means that each element is going to be represented 3 times. So that's why I created an image here. So if there are planets in the sky the minute you took your first breath and they are in a fire sign, that means something specific about your personality and your wellness. If planets were in earth signs, again, it has to do with your personality and your wellness. Anytime it's in an air sign, same thing. And a water sign, same thing. Now, when people are born, the planets are usually kind of scattered all over the place. So your sun was somewhere. So if this person was born sun sign, they would have been in Capricorn, like me, Capricorn. Moon sign, say this was one, Libra. Okay. Libra, those are the peacemakers, the storytellers, the counselors, right? Someone you want to go to when you got a problem. Okay. Those are Libra people and they're the peacemakers. So, it's all about finding balance in their life. So there are 10 main planets in astrology. Okay. And where those 10 planets were somewhere in the sky, that gives me a division of how many were in fire, how many were in earth, how many were in air, and how many are in water. That tells me your best action steps for a healthy life. Does that make sense? That's all it is. This takes years of work of study. Okay. So that's why I'm not teaching you how to be an astrologer. Okay. I am interpreting women's charts to help them get the answers they need that are always going to be consistent. So what that means is, for example, if someone has, depending on what the planets look like, if fire is their wellness, then I'm going to say, you know what? Whenever your life feels wacky, you feel crazy, you feel sluggish or whatever, I have already made a suggestion for them based on even deeper information in their chart. It's like you always have to rely on your fire element. For some people, it's earth. For some people, it's air. Some people, you just got to air it out. You just got to talk, right? For some people, air, water, just cry it out. Your body needs to cry. Some people need to cry. Am I making sense? Astrology is very validating. It's nothing to be ashamed of. Okay. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is show you the next little image. And then, ladies, we're going to get started. Can you guys see my screen now? Totally different. Okay, awesome. Okay, so just to show you what a real astrology birth chart looks like, I made a chart from an astrology website that I use when I work with my clients. And I put in 7 o'clock, December 8th tonight. And this is the picture of what the sky looked like when we all started tonight at 7 o'clock. So for most people, this is a bunch of red and blue lines, a bunch of glyphs, and very overwhelming. Am I right? Yeah. To an astrologer, this is interesting. I know your life story. I know the lessons you were here. I know what action you need to take. I know how you might be feeling tonight because I know where the planets are. The moon's in Leo. The little glyph over here, remember the glyph of the moon? It's over here in the sign of Leo. And Leo is a fire sign element. So when the moon's in a fire sign, especially in Leo, that is about passion, right? When the moon's in Leo, it's about passion. It's about bringing people together. It's a very supportive energy, okay? And the sun sign tonight, the sun is over here. The sun is Sagittarius. So if somebody was born tonight, they're going to be a very passionate person. And Sagittarius, people, they just constantly need to learn, right? They just always have to understand the meaning of life, right? So these are Sag people. So down here on the bottom right, look at that. There's some magical information. This is already distributed and showing me how many planets were in the fire element because it was red. How many planets were in earth? There was only one. There's lots of planets in fire. There's only one planet in air, and there's lots of planets in water, right? So that tells me the clues that I need to support my clients to help them feel better. I'm like, I already know what they got to do. Making sense? Okay. So you guys don't need to become astrologers. Okay. So now we're going to get started. All right. I just wanted to show you that because when I first started teaching this, people didn't even know what astrology was. So someone's like, just give us some pictures. I'm like, okay, that's great. Okay. So now we're going to go on to step number 1. So if you can be a little bit daring and courageous, just type a yes in the chat, or even we already know the couple of women here. Raise your hand if you're going through a current challenge, right? And you could be even trying to deal with an emotional issue, right? If you are going through an act of betrayal, let's face it. Look how ashamed and how I felt, and I felt embarrassed. I was suicidal and I was depressed, right? It's not easy. So when you're going through a tough time, for me, not only was I emotionally down, but remember, my physical body was showing symptoms. It was falling apart as well. And that's where, for a lot of us now, we understand, this whole mind, body, spirit connection. It didn't make sense to me at that time. I didn't know what was going on because the doctors are only talking about putting a band aid or trying to stop you from feeling depressed or whatever, right? So for women like here tonight, this could be you too. You could be going through multiple things, whether it's physical and emotional. And the truth is, we can't solve all of our challenges at once, but we do have the power to just start with one step tonight so that everyone here in the room can start feeling better. Who agrees, right? Yeah, we can just do one thing. And each of the four elements represents a specific area regarding emotional health and physical vitality in astrology. So, even here tonight, is there anyone who's willing to you don't have to give us details, but is there anyone willing to just share that they're going through something tough right now? Yeah, Jessica, how about you? I love your bravery. Thank you, ladies. You can take yourself off. So, what's happening with you? You can cry if you need to, too. This is a safe space.
You guys, I just recently got married last year, and my parents have both been ill. I live in San Diego. My husband and I moved to Nevada. It was really bad timing. My father passed away in March. My mom is in a care home right now. My husband has reverted back to being a single man, basically. I don't know if he's physically been unfaithful to me, but he hasn't been here to support me in San Diego. He stays in Nevada, and I feel like he chooses his friends over me.
Yeah.
And I know that there's another woman that's trying to, get her claws into him, and he just doesn't see it. And he tips her basically a brand new car every month. Nevada's full of casinos, and she's a bartender. And then he can't see that she works them for the money. And we haven't talked for almost 3 months now. I left. I moved out. I came back to San Diego, and I haven't spoken to him. He hasn't called. He's so immature about it. My mom's basically on her deathbed, and I told him she'd like to see him and that my boys and I need his support. And he says, "You left us. It'd be nice if we could be there for one another, but we're no longer together. We're living separate lives." And it's not even my fault. I just had to leave because I didn't want to deal with the insanity. I kept telling him, "You got to see what's happening. It's tearing me apart. I need you physically. I need you emotionally. Your energy is elsewhere right now." I even flew back into Nevada when he wasn't answering my calls. And you know where I found him? At the bar with her where she works. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
I'm okay. It's been a few months. I haven't talked to him, but yeah.
Yeah.
Why? And my mom's about to pass away.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We're holding space for you, Jessica. I get emotional just listening to you to support you. We're going to just send you some love because I know exactly how you feel. And that's why I shared my story too. I felt like there was betrayal everywhere. So, I feel like, you're going through multiple things as well. And I just want to commend you for your bravery and for admitting that truth, that intuition that you already know. right? So just one little thing I'm going to share with you is, really pay attention to the steps we're going to go through tonight and give yourself permission to look after you, because you can't control anything that anybody else is doing. That's what's going to drive you crazy. That's what drove me crazy. And even for me, it's kind of like what you went through. I knew what was going on, and I actually did the same thing. I went out to my partner, caught him live in the act, and it didn't stop because he just kept doing it because he was getting away with it. And I was so young and naive, I didn't know what to do, right? So I needed support and help too. So with that being said, just take a few deep breaths right now. There's other one in the room here that I know we're sending you some love, and just try to take your power back a little bit tonight. And we're going to give you some action steps for you to take. Okay. Right. And just one more quick little thing, but someone told me many years ago when I was in the midst of it all, and I was in counseling, and I was in a group of people, and there was all different ages, and men and women, young and old. And it was a big group that I actually had to pay to go to. And we were on our break, and the elderly man beside me that was sitting there having his lunch said something to me, and that's what I walked away with. Not all the counseling that stirred up all this stuff, but the guy just said to me, he goes, I had to learn that when I'm going through this big, huge challenge, that I can only focus on the craziness of everything that's happening around me and other people. I give it 10 minutes. I give myself 10 minutes to feel the craziness, and then I turn it off because I can't function. So give yourself some type of I'm only going to give myself 5 or 10 minutes or whatever you choose to do to worry about what's happening and to worry about what other people are doing. And the rest of my day is all for you. Am I making sense? Because your empowerment begins with Jessica. And guess what? When you start getting healthier and stronger, somebody's going to notice. Somebody ain't going to like it. That's what empowerment is. Does that make sense? Yeah. So you are in the right room, and thank you for sharing that. Okay. So we'll take a deep breath, and we're going to keep going. So, and if you feel okay, Jessica, to answer a couple of questions, we might as well stay focused on you if you want. And then everybody can just follow Jessica's lead if you're okay. Because this is what I like to encourage people to do. And we're going to do 4 little quick questions about the 4 elements. So, Jessica, how often do you exercise for even just 20 minutes a day? And I'm taking notes because this is like an intake question when I work with my clients. And that's the fire element. How much do you exercise?
Maybe 4 times a week.
Is it at least 20 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, what about the earth element? How often do you cook from scratch?
Not very often.
Okay.
Maybe once every other week.
Okay, that's good. Air, how often do you meditate or just spend quiet time by yourself for about 20 minutes at least?
At least 5 times a week.
Okay. And how much water do you drink on a daily basis? I mean, like if you're in the States, like here's my coffee cup. So 250 ml is probably here. So this is probably 2 cups of water.
I probably drink about 32 ounces.
Okay, that's good. So you're good on your water. Okay. All right. So, and I just want to remind everybody too, when we talk about water, thank you, Jessica. That was great. You know, it's just to give you. So what I did with Jessica is just to, you know, it's a great habit to just check in with yourself. You know, am I exercising? Am I drinking water? Am I eating well? And am I spending time by myself? Because that's when our intuition really kicks in. When I learned how to meditate, I actually understood what intuition was. I was in my late 30s. They don't teach you intuition in school or how to use your intuition, right? I mean, we're in the age of Aquarius now. It's a common word, but hey, back then I was like, what? So it's crazy. And also with water too, because I do like to focus a lot on water, is because we're women and it really is connected to intuition as well. So when we drink coffee, right? Like this is a 2-cupper. So 2 cups of coffee. Actually, let me go back. 1 cup of coffee from a wellness perspective, we need 8 cups of coffee, 8 cups of water to rebalance our blood, to rebalance the water in our blood. So for a lot of people that drink a lot of coffee or even alcohol as well, and they don't replenish with water, they're already dehydrated. Okay. So that's what I used to ask a lot of women is how much water are you drinking? Not enough, you know, whatever. So that's always sometimes a very quick fix is to just balance your water. That's always a great way to start for people. Okay, and Jessica's got that. Okay, so and I just want to remind you guys that you know, when we're doing any type of health and wellness and any type of healing, that it takes time. And asking for help is a courageous step. And ultimately, your health is your responsibility and no one can do it for you. But just finding support, like me with that woman, I didn't know what I was saying yes to. Man, that changed my life, right? And right now, we're experiencing the fall of so many patriarchal systems in our society, especially in healthcare and education. So, as an astrologer, I know we know that's happening. It's kind of hard to say, but it's kind of like a heads up, everyone. It's coming down for a reason because a lot of things globally have to change. And in order to start with something new, it has to be broken down. It just has to come down. Unfortunately, we're kind of in that right now, right? And in my opinion, what that just means is that we really have the power to take these matters of health and wellness into our own hands and just be responsible. Just start doing something. We can't wait for things to happen. We just always got to be checking in with ourselves and our bodies and understanding what it is that we're experiencing. And this really is a reflection of what we're going to see with the age of Aquarius. Okay. So just to recap, what step number 1 really is just understand that anything to do with astrology when uncovering information is always represented by the 4 elements. Okay. It's just that simple. So when I work with my clients, we start with those elements. So does anybody have any questions about that? Right? Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. So for step number 2, this will do a little bit of magical fun stuff here. And if you guys are willing to just participate, is everybody good to participate for just a couple of minutes without any distractions? Yeah, we're good. Okay, because if you are, this is where you may experience a 1-degree shift and just a little bit of woo-woo magic. Okay, so if you're open, let's all join together with just a little short visualization. I'm going to guide you guys through it. And if you're willing to just close your eyes and before we begin, just take like 3 deep breaths. You know, I'll just count. Just take a deep breath in, relaxing breath, and then breathe out. And breathe in again. And breathe out. And just take that one final breath. Okay. In and out. And just imagine that you are outside of your physical body and you're looking down on you. Okay. And I'm going to encourage you to see yourself in your favorite place that always makes you feel happy when you're there. Like really pick up on that happiness energy. Like just feels so good to be there. And then pretend you are an angel or a spirit guide or even a loved one who's passed over and is lovingly watching over you right now. And then just take another breath, deep breath in. That's an amazing feeling to have. And you have the magic power to energetically send an instant message to you sitting there so that you can hear what you honestly need to start doing today. And without thinking, I want you to choose one of the 4 following elements: fire, earth, air, or water. And which of those 4 is resonating with you right now? Just calling you. Trust your intuition and just repeat that one element in your mind. Yeah. Now place your hands on your heart and thank your higher self for sending you this message. And just take another deep breath and then open your eyes when you're ready. Yeah. So we'll just do raise of hands. We're just a small group. We got 6 of us. How many women heard the word fire? Raise your hand. Anybody hear fire? No, that's good. Did anybody hear earth? Couple of earth. What about air? Anybody hear air? Air and water. There we go. Isn't that fascinating? It's so fascinating. So I just want you to remember, we're going to keep going with the training, but just remember those questions that I asked Jessica, right? Got fire, exercise, right? You know, there's something deeper in there, not just exercise, but they actually represent something specific. So you know, like someone said to me once, oh, I drink a lot of water and I heard water. And I was like, okay, well, that's good because your chart could be saying either you need to spend time near water. And for some people, as you know, I've worked with clients for months and we do other things. But did you know that sometimes people even feel better and they're more successful depending on where they live, according to their astrology chart? And some people actually do better if they live near water or close to water. It's so fascinating. And all that information is in your chart, right? So it can tell us a lot of things. And the truth is, I bet you already know what you need to do to start feeling better, right? Like we're intelligent, intuitive women in this room, right? We know studies. I didn't exercise today, right? I had to exercise today. I was doing a class today. Ooh, got my notes done. I had to go for a walk. I had to just like stop thinking so much, right? So going for a walk for me is just a time when I don't think. I go, I walk, I find cool things to take photos of. And usually every time I'm out there, I'm like, I didn't see that before. Oh, I just noticed that today. I'm in the city, I'm downtown. Like there's so much to see every time I go. I'm like, oh my God. Today I found a store that has something I can buy for my son. I'm like, what? Okay, little gift for my son today, right? Not knowing when I was going to get him, right? Just popped out at me. Okay, so that's your intuition. And remember that managing our feelings, like our emotions that are coming up, requires a system to really let us check in with our bodies, right? So just remember your intuition is always correct. So trust your intuition all the time. Okay. And I believe the best way is to just focus on one action step based on one element, even what spoke to you tonight, because when we're feeling down or we're going through a challenging time, it's most likely that at least one of those 4 elements is out of balance. Okay. So even when Jessica, we did in the beginning, right? There was just one, her earth was kind of out of balance. So that could even be a clue there. So For some people, it can be 2 or 3 elements that need to be taken into consideration. And just, to recap, remember when I shared in my story that I was feeling lost and scared, and I didn't know what to do after speaking to the doctor in my office, right? And so I was feeling lost, but also, that same day, I met a woman an hour later that stepped into my life. And so I want to remind you that there is always somebody who's ready to step into your life to support you, and help is always available. I can't stress that enough. I've gone through some crazy stuff in my life, and I'm telling you, it was just simply asking people for help that literally gave me the wings to move forward in my life. And it was like a snowball effect. It just kept going and going, and it got easier. I felt more comfortable doing it. And I realized that I wasn't meant to do anything alone. And that's why I felt alone all the time, because I was always trying to do things by myself. Right. And, I believe in destiny. So, that woman that I chatted with, or even destiny that, my doctor didn't have the answers. If you look at my astrology chart, it's all about health and wellness, herbs, woo woo, plant medicine, that kind of stuff. It's all over my chart. I'm doing what I was destined to do. And I had to go through those challenges to make those big decisions to take that different path, right? Because now today I'm able to help other women, and there's no accident that you're all here with me tonight. Does that make sense? Right? Our lives have meaning, right? Even when it's ugly, there's meaning in it, right? And I'm really here to support you and to really teach you that you can begin to implement some changes in your life. And when I showed up at that woman's house, I was making changes to my earth element. I didn't know anything about supplements or cleansing or detoxing and all the stuff she did. Right. And that's where I started. And I didn't know anything about supplements or how to use herbs. Right. And I didn't go back to her. I found a school and found books and went to school, physically went to school and studied herbology and that kind of stuff. Right. And so again, we just have to take responsibility for a lot of holistic health solutions, because we don't learn this in school. It's going to be the future, but not right now, right? So this is really important to integrate. Okay. So what I'm sharing with you is that by taking action using astrology and holistic health, this is the path that I talk about as personal empowerment. And so to recap, again, what I'm talking about is to, understand there's something out of whack. We call in an element. And that final step, number 3, is to really just start doing something about it, right? So based on what you heard tonight, just ask yourself what it is that I can be doing to enhance my health and wellness, and be willing to just take action, because you got to pick yourself up. And remember, there's always an element that you can begin with. It doesn't have to be a lot. And again, I just want to remind everyone too, just another wellness tip is to understand water, because not only does it help us with our intuition, like I talked a little bit about earlier, but also dehydration doesn't just affect our physical body, it also impacts our mood and our emotional resilience. And even when we're slightly dehydrated, it can lead to fatigue, brain fog, irritability, and even an increased risk of anxiety and depression. So please drink your water when you're going through a challenging time, or if you're in any type of a health crisis, right? And according to 2018, in a study that was published in the World Journal of Psychiatry, dehydration was significantly associated with higher levels of depression in adults, and especially women. Okay. So remember, our emotional health isn't just about the mindset, it isn't about the things we think about. It's about our entire body, which is emotional, physical, and that spiritual connection. And if we want to feel better during challenging times, We have to treat our body with so much care. There's just so much happening on the planet right now in general, according to everything, our our food we eat, our physical body, the mind, the meditation, everything, right? And I just had to start. And I just want to remind you that I am not saying that I'm perfect and that I always take care of myself, because I slip up all the time. But when I'm going through something difficult, or if I know I'm out of whack, I know that I can implement one of the specific elements. And understanding my chart, I know what is always my go-to, always. And I even shared that, I have to go for a walk. It's just my body craves physical exercise. And that's even in my chart, which made sense for me when I studied that. Everything in my life just made so much sense, right? And that always gives me the power to bounce back every time. And I have my own template, and it's based on my chart. And I carry even my holistic solutions with me everywhere I go, so I am not without. So I have a little wellness pack that I carry, and everybody knows what's in it, right? And it's no joke, because I don't want my body to suffer. Why, if I already know what I need? It just doesn't logically make sense to me, right? So do you want that, right? Those results, do you want the answers? Because you can get that, right? And that's when the alchemy and the magic happens, when you just always take action. So we good? No questions? Okay. So I promised you ladies a gift too, and I want to talk about that right now, because I can give you guys some additional support that will help you also understand something else that you can do on a weekly basis that's aligned with the astrological sky and the elements, so that you can start learning some simple action steps now that you want to create a bit of magic and wellness in your life. And it's free. Okay. So I've been doing this for a few years now, right? And I just want to share in a very simple way that all the time the planets are moving, right? Certain planets move fast, certain planets move slow. Certain planets really affect what we're feeling. Okay. So I break it down every week for people. And specific events happen in the astrological sky on this weekly basis that can also trigger specific emotions that many people are feeling at the same time. Like, how is it I'm feeling here while I'm in Toronto, and my friend's feeling it in Northern Ontario, and someone's feeling it in Texas, and someone's feeling it in China? Why is that? Because of where certain planets are in the astrological sky. That's the saying, as above, so below. And what's happening globally right now is happening to everybody, and it's showing up in an area of your life, whether you're following politics, whatever. Page, that's fine, no worries. Whatever it is that you're following, I know you'll get the recording as well. And I know that it's being triggered by what's happening in the astrological sky. And also, there are recommendations that I can make for you that are global and universal, where everybody can use the same thing. Make sense? And it can be easy. Okay. This is what I've studied for years. So my videos that I make for everybody go out every Thursdays. So this week, up until Wednesday, I kind of predicted how people would be feeling. And that's what I'm drinking. That's the food and the herbs I'm using, right? And sometimes I even give specific action steps based on the element, the predominant element that I think is going to help people for the week ahead, to focus on a specific element. So we just had the full moon in the astrological sign of Gemini. Now, Gemini in astrology is an air sign element, okay? And a lot of people have been feeling lately like they just gotta let go of an old version of themselves or some old story, right? Now, some people are nodding their heads. I know that's what I was going through. It's like, I'm done with that. That's not even me anymore. But it had to bubble up under that full moon, right? And when we let go on a full moon, we can release something that's old, right? So I have little rituals and little foods and herbs and things I recommend. But that was the focus of my video last week, is that a lot of people are feeling this. And a lot of people, especially women, have been feeling super sensitive lately, especially the last few months, because every time it's been a full moon, the moon has been really close to the earth. And this doesn't happen every month. Okay. But when it's really close to the moon, like it was the other night, it's called a super moon. Okay. Have you guys been seeing that on your social media, supermoon? So what does that mean? It means we're really sensitive and emotional. And even for me, man, I had a major meltdown. And a lot of people around me were too. And I kept telling, you're not crazy. This is what's happening in the astrological. So you in the sky, use it to your advantage, right? So this is no joke. Full moon energy is an emotionally sensitive time. So if you've had important issues arise lately with the people that you love, then I guarantee you are genuinely feeling the energy, what's happening in the astrological sky, because the planet Venus was also involved. There was other planets involved. But in my weekly videos, I try to make it really simple for people. And I'm like, you're not going crazy, right? Even someone said to me the other day, what's been going on for the 3 weeks? I said, well, Mercury is retrograde and the planet Mercury rules Gemini. So, hey, this craziness and chaos is real. Okay. Am I making sense? Yeah, absolutely. So even for me, because of that full moon energy, I had this huge breakdown where I literally just had to blurt out everything that was weighing on my heart. My intuition was picking up on a lot of stuff, and I just had to get around the people that I trusted just to get it out, right? And someone said to me the next day, and I said, oh no, I feel so good. I feel so good. I just had to get it off my chest. I've said my piece. It's not about what happens. My health and wellness depended on me connecting with what I was feeling, giving myself permission to do it, and to just write it out, send it out. Does that make sense? That's the air element. It's like what Jessica just did. She just had to share, right? So I'm telling people, focus on that air element. Get it out. Get it off your chest. That was the message for last week and into this week. And this is happening for everybody, right? So you don't need to be an astrologer to learn all of this, because I've already done the work for you guys, because this is my passion. I love to study what's happening, do the research, provide little information for people and templates. And you know what? I give this away for free every week. Okay. Who loves free, right? Like I said, you don't have to be an astrologer to work with me. You just got to trust me, because it's happening to me too. So each week I recommend some specific natural solutions. I always recommend something in my teacup, and it's specific. I can predict what people are feeling, and based on herbology and what I've studied, if you drink this tea, I guarantee if you're feeling something negative, it can be positive, because there's healing properties in plant medicine, and we can drink it in tea. Very inexpensive, right? I also make recommendations, things you can use to get a good night's sleep and to feel more grounded. And so when we manage all of this, we can stay more balanced, and then we know which solutions we can use. Okay. So each week, this will be in the free gift you'll get. Each week, I create a short video that goes out across my social media. And this show is called Your Time Matters. And that explains what's currently happening in the astrological sky, like what's going on. And like I said, I can predict what people might be feeling. And I recommend those holistic solutions to help everyone feel better, feel more balanced. And I always give an action step based on one element, right? So this week it was big air. Get it out, get it off your chest. Sometimes I might give you specific questions to ask yourself, some things to write. Sometimes it's very fire-based. You know, sometimes it's earth-based too. Sometimes it's water, right? So each week I really sit and I connect with the planets and go, what is everybody going to be feeling? So if you want to watch those free videos, then I'm going to encourage you to just stay till the very end. We're almost done. We're going to give you the link, not yet, and that's going to be your bonus gift. Okay. And so not only will this help you save time and money or trying to be an astrologer, you don't have to figure this out. I have already done it for you. And I might already be using stuff that's already in your kitchen cupboard. You're just not using it for emotional healing. Okay. Because plants have powerful medicine in them. And on the front page of that template that you're going to get for your gift, you can print that out as a guide, just connect. So you get in the habit of watching or listening my short videos. They're very short, you know, what's happening, what I recommend, and I tell you why, and then some action steps. So you can actually print that out and that link will be posted. Okay, so I'm just going to take a breath because some of you women here tonight might even be thinking, like, how can you go deeper into your own chart and even learn more specific action steps based on your chart? Because tonight's live stream is just the sneak peek at what astrology can be used as a template for our health and wellness using 4 elements. However, inside of my astrological wellness consultations, which are 30 minutes and they're pre-recorded. And the reason why is because once I get the client's information, I have to study the chart. I put the wellness information together into a template and with some action steps and say, this is always going to be your go-to, right? So that's where I have to do the work ahead of time as an astrologer and put it together because it's unique for every single person, right? And you don't have to know the exact time like someone asked earlier, but we have to know the place and the day you were born, okay? In order for me to offer the consultation. And I provide this for all of my clients and I study the information and then I create a recording on Zoom. So it's actually me talking. It's explaining the chart. There's a PDF template that comes with it. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. And this will also give in total 5 things. So there's empowering astrological insights that I believe based on parts of your personality that you need to understand. And I'm going to talk about your life lesson that I believe that you're here to learn, and you can contemplate how that showed up in your life. Because for me, it was to not be a victim, to be empowered. And that kept showing up by every time I got betrayed, I had to pick myself back up again. I had to use the solutions, and then I taught others. There was meaning to my life. And when it's ugly, we don't understand the meaning, right? We're just like, why is this happening? Why is it happening again? Okay. So in this consultation, there's going to be the 5 parts to it, plus, most importantly, the one specific element that each person's astrological chart speaks to me, and they need to activate it right away. And as I go deeper into your chart, there's also a breakdown where I go not only specific to the element, sometimes I go, it's very specific to, I recommend you do this, and I do it this way. Does that make sense? Because that's where astrology could actually get very deep. And with this, it's different for every single woman, for each chart. So it's not generalized. And that's where I need to do the research. And like I said, you get the version of it. And you get to understand yourself a little bit better. So for the holidays, I am offering a very, very low ticket price for tonight, actually till the end of the month, but tonight only as well, for $147 Canadian. So if you are American, raise your hand. I will do the conversion for you. Okay. It's going to be approximately $107 American. Okay. That is your recording that I make for you, plus the information in a template so that it's broken down and easy for you to understand. Okay, there's taxes on top of there with Canadians, so I'd say with tax, you round that up, maybe it's going to be $115 US. Okay, for Canadians, it's 166. All right. So with that, then you know what the exact information in your chart is and how you can get started. And it might give you some meaning and help your life to make sense. Okay. Because right now we're going through so many changes in the time. And many of my past clients are just truly amazed at how I've created this simple and easy to use framework for each of them to keep them organized on a daily basis so that they're able to implement those elements and then over time feel more confident and happier and tap into the power of astrology. Because remember, a lot of people that I've worked with, they follow me on social media. They're like, how do you know this? I don't know. I just do it. I just do the research and I do it. And I actually apply it as well. And I would just love to share as we close off the story about a previous client. And this woman was already fascinated with astrology, and her name is Maggie. And she is a 55-year-old woman. And she was really feeling down in it when she came to me. She was a senior executive who lost her job following a claim of harassment. And she came to me feeling really anxious, fearful for her future career, and depressed. And she had lost all of her self-confidence. Her self-esteem was like way down. And she said to me, I just don't feel like I have any power. Like this guy wiped her power out. She felt so victimized by what had been done to her and angry by the injustice that happened to her in the corporate workplace and how it literally made her feel on a personal level. Like she was just wiped out. And after hiring me, within a few days, she was already beginning to feel much better. And her destructive feelings were replaced with calm and positivity and optimism because she used exactly what I recommended for her based on her unique astrological chart. And when I studied her chart, I validated what she was feeling because it was being triggered by an astrological event. And I told her she wasn't crazy. There was a scientific astrological explanation, and she became more fascinated with astrology after that. And together we created her template using her chart as her framework for her. And she just began to implement just one small yet consistent daily step based on one element that I uncovered for her when she followed my recommendations. And I studied her chart. And after about 28 days, she really started to feel better. And then she hired me as a mentor and continued to work with me throughout the year, right? And over time, we uncovered even more information about her chart. And then we got even deeper. And I suggested some action she could take that would actually allow her to truly feel validated and happy. And this is a very specific signature in someone's chart. And you know what? She did it. As crazy as it sounded, I said to her, but your chart is telling me if you just spent more time doing this, it's not about logic. You're going to feel happy and stuff's going to happen. And I swear she did it. She shook her head. She goes, it doesn't make sense, but she did it anyways because she trusted me. And you know what? She now has a new career and a completely different life that she absolutely loves, right? And that big shift that she experienced offered her a moment of personal transformation for her that originally began with that betrayal, right? And she started with one simple action step and she ran with it, right? And she also loved attending my free monthly astrological educational experiences, which I do every month. And those are going to be free too, because people get on my newsletter, you're going to be invited. And then she just kept finding more clarity. Astrology made sense. How she was feeling all the time, it made sense. She wasn't thinking she was crazy. It's like I'm telling her, everybody's feeling that way. She goes, "Oh, it's not just me." I'm like, "No, we're all going through this, right?" So she's like, "Oh, astrology makes so much sense." So she always follows because she's interested in understanding what's happening in the sky. And she watches my videos and she finds out what I recommend each week. And you guys can do that too. And now she's prepared for life because in case anything ever comes up in her life, she knows what she has to do, right? And that's what her chart told her. So for you, I want you to imagine having me as your mentor, right? Who not only understands what's happening in astrology, but I can translate it for you into a wellness template. And my experience and guidance will help you maintain emotional balance along with understanding which element always needs to be implemented right away, too. And I'm just going to say, as a double Capricorn myself and a natural born leader, right? I'm committed to helping women unlock a holistic, vibrant lifestyle that aligns with their soul's journey. And I understand people don't want to pay, but for this month, like I said, I am offering this consultation as a ho holiday for just 147 bucks Canadian, which is just over 100 American. And I know I'm going to save you a lot of time and money because there's going to be no more guessing, and those answers are already in the chart. So, ladies, if you can post, one of the ladies was going to post that first link for me. If you can post that in the chat, I'm going to give you the link. It's a direct payment link on Square if anyone is interested. It's prepayment. If you go there, I will send you an email right away. And I will be asking you for your birth chart information. And I'm going to give you a breakdown of what to expect. And I'll tell you exactly when you will receive the recording by. And just to recap what the astrological consultation is, I can actually show you guys a flyer as well too. But it's going to be the five pieces. So there's going to be 3 important parts of your personality, which I want everyone to understand because you're not just your sun sign. And it'll help you understand your strengths, especially how your mind works, right? And that karmic spiritual lesson that I believe that each person is here to learn on a soul level. And I give you a little bit of what I call spiritual homework to do, so that you can start to feel better. Plus, I give you the one important wellness action step based on a specific element that comes up in your chart. Okay, so those are the 5 things. And you can start to focus on feeling a little bit better. And if life gets you down again, you're always going to have this information. That's why I give you the PDF as well. And you'll always have the recording as well for your own personal use. And I will show you. And again, you don't need to know the time, just your exact date and birthplace. And I will show you the flyer I have for it. I wasn't going to show it, but this is going to be on my social media anyways, because I did not make a PowerPoint presentation. Oh, hold on a second. No.
Tamron, there's a question in the chat. It says, can you please repeat how you obtain our email address? Do we click on checkout?
Your email address will, you mean for to get the newsletter? What's the question? Or you can just ask me the question. Is it Jessica?
Yeah, it's me. Sorry.
No worries.
For some reason, I thought you needed our email address to send us something. Was it other than if we purchase?
If you purchase, then I will email you because your email address is going to come to me. So I will email you and ask you what's your date of birth, give you all your information, and I'll tell you when you're going to receive your recording. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Because you can't fill it in on Square. I'm just giving you the prepayment link. right? So you can purchase it, and then I will email you and ask you information, and I'll give you a breakdown of what you're going to receive too. And then you will get the recording and you will get the printed PDF. Is that good? Clear? Thank you. Thank you for that, because I was probably rambling. And I just wanted to show you guys. Well, this is just my holiday flyer that's going out anyways. Will I be able to see it on the screen? Oh no, it'll be too big for you guys. Okay, unfortunately, I won't show it. Okay. Next year, this will be a Canva presentation, and the information will be on there as well too. Maybe not the same price, but hey, presentation will still be there. So I just want to remind everyone, because we're getting close to closing, that as an astrologer, I do believe in destiny. And like I said, I believe in the women that are in the room tonight and the people that signed up for this and getting the recording if you're still watching this at the end of the recording. And I am here to take a stand for women just like you who are going through a difficult time. All right. And I would love to work with you and to help you go deeper and to find the answers using your astrological chart. And the holiday sale is on for just 147 Canadian. Remember, that's 107 American. And if you are still here live, we can give you your gift and post that link. We can post that final link now.
And Tamron, when you check out, it'll, what's the word? Convert to American. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, because it's square. So whatever card you use or whatever state you're in, it's just it'll be lower for Americans. And if not, send me an email. But well, I've never had any Americans have a problem. Any other questions before we go? Because we wanted 90 minutes. I don't want to go over. Are we good? Are you able to show the link for the gift? There we go. So if you want, Jessica, you can click on that too. That'll give you my inside of the guidebook. You're going to get my YouTube link. You can follow me on there. The videos come out every Thursday. They're short and sweet. They also go across local TV stations here. I'm trying to get the TV station to go right across Canada. So, they approached me and said, more people need to know this. I'm like, yes, I know. Right. So I felt when that woman asked me that, I thought I was going to cry, because I'd been making those videos on my own for so long. And then someone just said, more people need to know. And I'm like, yes, they do. So, yeah, people follow. They're on my socials as well. People follow me there, and they're just like, this makes sense. And you feel, I just gotta say, you feel more validated, you feel less alone, because when you're experiencing, especially like a strong emotion, and sometimes it's because of the moon, but a lot of times it's Mercury retrograde, right? And Mercury, I give you that information in your chart because the planet Mercury represents our logical mind and how we express ourselves. And so when you understand how your mind works based on your astrological chart, you might even start communicating more differently with people, because 2 or 3, 6 people can be in the room and somebody can hear one thing and we're all going to interpret it different. Does that make sense? I might say something, somebody might feel it, and I'd be like, I didn't say that. And I felt, and I'm like, okay, right? So that's why I give you guys one of those pieces of information as well in your chart. You really got to understand how your mind works. So if any questions at all, are we good, ladies? Awesome. Well, thank you so much for playing full out, Jessica, for participating, all the other amazing women that were here as well. And like I said, Mercury was retrograde me too. And I know what that means in an astrology chart. There is power to Mercury retrograde, especially as we get older, right? Because I'll say this more, and how about you, Susan? Because we got to get off here. But more people come to me for advice when Mercury is retrograde. Does that happen to you too, Susan? Yeah. Because Mercury retrograde means that you can logically I'll use my cup. This would be like the information or the question or the query or a statement or something. And when people are born with Mercury retrograde, they know what needs to happen, like the future for that question or query. And then they also know what needs to be done in order to make this happen. Does that make sense? So think engineering, right? Templates. Hello, what did I create? Templates, right? Yeah. So understanding your chart is very powerful. Very powerful. Okay. Thank you, ladies. I'm going to let you go. I want to thank everyone. Jessica will connect with you, and also you will be put on the newsletter as well, and you're going to get the weekly updates automatically. You can unsubscribe anytime, but a lot of people just want to start learning as well. Okay.
Perfect. Thanks, Tamron. Good night, ladies. Happy holidays.
You too. There we go. Oh, we didn't have to move her out. There we go. Well, that was pretty good. She played full out. I could totally relate to her story. I was like, man, a lot of similarities there. Didn't the stars align her to show up tonight?
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I don't want to take up your time because I know it's a 90-minute thing. So thank you.
Tamron, I'm so impressed by you're so smooth and it's such great information.